Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to show you how I made this really cool anti-gravity cake. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for weekly videos. Alright, let's start with the cake. So the first thing you're going to do is combine 1.5 cups of milk with 1 cup of cereal and bring that to a boil. You really can use whatever cereal you'd like, but I decided to use Cinnamon Toast Crunch. As this starts to simmer, you're going to notice the milk is really going to thicken up. Don't worry about it. We're going to add a little more milk towards the end just to thin it out so it's a little easier to combine with our cake batter. The point of this process is to get all that great cereal flavor out of the cereal into your cake batter, so don't skip this step. Once you're done simmering your cereal, go ahead and give it a good sift. You want to get all those lumps and chunks out. It's okay, the mixture can still be a little warm. Alright guys, now it's time for the cake. You can really use whatever flavor cake you'd like. I'm using vanilla because I think that's going to go really well with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but you can use whatever flavor you'd like. And I would like to add the reason why we made the milk at the beginning is because it's going to be mixed into our cake. It's going to add that extra cereal flavor. Feel free to use whatever cake flavor you'd like, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. Obviously I went for vanilla, but you can really get creative with this. If you really wanted to, even towards the end, you can toss in some of that cereal as well if you'd like a little bits in there. I decided not to because I really wasn't sure about that, but maybe if you're doing something like Fruit Loops, Corn Pops, that might work a little better. Make sure when you're beating together your butter and sugar, you beat it enough so it gets fluffy. I'm talking about it's probably going to look like whipped cream at the end. You can see in this picture here how it's white and fluffy. Don't skip this step, guys. It's the key to a fluffy cake. We want all those ingredients combined. Another pro tip for an extra fluffy cake, try to have your eggs at room temperature. So if I'm baking a cake, I usually like to take my eggs out a few hours in advance so they're not cold. This will help your cake to rise. Alright, now time for the fun part. This is where we're going to add our flour mixture in with our cereal milk and our butter and sugar. So just make sure you combine that, alternating between wet and dry. Okay guys, now we're going to pour half our cake batter into just a stainless steel bowl that I had. This is going to be the base of the bowl. And then I just topped it with some cinnamon sugar because this is a Cinnamon Toast Crunch cake. The other half of my cake batter just went into a basic 8-inch round cake pan. Again, I topped it with the cinnamon sugar mixture and then I popped both in the oven. It did take a while to bake. I believe it took about an hour and 15 minutes to get it cooked all the way through. So here I have my cooled cake that I baked in the bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and then just trim that so it's nice and even. We want to get all that caramelized part off of the cake. Feel free to cut the cake into as many layers as you'd like. If you're not comfortable with it, you don't even have to cut layers in there, but obviously I love to. I love buttercream, so I want to fill this cake with all the goodness. Alright, so just take that 8-inch section of cake and go ahead and trim it up, and then what I'm going to do is douse it in some cereal milk that I made a little earlier. It's just cereal with milk, and then I poured it all over my cake to keep it nice and moist. Alrighty, so just cover that first layer of cake with some buttercream, and I decided to add cereal in there. Now I won't lie, the cereal did come out a little chewy after, so do this at your own discretion. When you're stacking those cake layers together, guys, just make sure you really press it down so the cake layers stick together. The last thing you want to do is have your cake falling apart. Now, you may or may have not noticed, but we're actually building this bowl upside down, and it's going to make it a lot easier for us going forward when we need to ice this bad boy, and I'll show you a trick for flipping it over once we're done. Alright, now it's time for our crumb coat, so just put a nice thin layer of buttercream all over your cake. Feel free to use whatever color you'd like. I obviously went with blue. To get that crumb coat extra smooth, I actually just used a piece of plastic and just glided it over the cake, wiping away all the excess. Alrighty, now it's time for our final layer of buttercream. So I've taken my cake out of the fridge. It's been chilling for some time. It's nice and firm. So just go ahead and toss on another layer of buttercream. Just like the first time, we're going to smooth it out all around and use that piece of plastic again to get that nice even finish. When you're doing this final layer of buttercream, make sure you take your time. It's a long process. So right here is real time, real speed, how long it actually took me to get this smooth and even. So don't rush it. It will come. It just takes time. So the key to a smooth buttercream finish is you want to make sure that your buttercream is thin. So a way to test that out is if you put a spoon into your icing, it should fall over on the side. Your spoon should not stick up straight. If it does, your icing is too thick and you're going to add a little water or milk. Okay, it's time for the milk splash. You're going to need lots of white chocolate for this step. So here I just went to Bulk Barn, got some basic white chocolate, melted it, and then covered a few straws I had wrapped up in tinfoil and saran wrap. So you're going to have to do this step a few times. So I did the initial covering of white chocolate, let it cool, then added a few more drips. Now for the splash coming out of the bowl, all I did was blow up a balloon. Sorry, all I had was white, so I know it might be a little hard to see. I just blew up a balloon, popped it in a bowl, and then dripped some white chocolate around the sides. Now I did leave a little hole in the center just because we're going to need to insert that other part that we just made, I guess the milk stream, into the middle, right into the cake. Okay, now it's time to assemble our cake. So just pop your cake out of the fridge. I've had it in there for about an hour. Place a cake board on top of it and flip it over. Make sure you hold the cake firmly when you do this. You don't want it to roll away. Now just give your cake a nice healthy serving of white chocolate. This is going to act as our milk in the bowl, and we're going to top it with cereal. Make sure you do this right away or else your white chocolate is going to dry and your cereal won't stick, as I learned the hard way. I actually ended up having to glue a bunch of the pieces on separately and doing 2 layers of white chocolate. So please learn from my mistakes and add the cereal on right after. It will make your life a lot easier. Of course, with my luck, my phone was at max storage as I was finishing assembling this cake. So I'm so sorry guys, you can't see the final step, but I just inserted the milk stream. However, this is the final product. So as you can see, this is our anti-gravity cereal cake. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and it tasted even better. So don't forget to like and subscribe for weekly videos. Thanks guys!